First Samuel 18. David and Saul finished talking, and soon David and Jonathan became best friends. Jonathan thought as much of David as he did of himself. From that time on, Saul kept David in his service and would not let David go back to his own family. Jonathan liked David so much that they promised to always be loyal friends. Jonathan took off the robe that he was wearing and gave it to David. He also gave him his military clothes, his sword, his bow and arrows, and his belt. David was a success in everything that Saul sent him to do, and Saul made him a high officer in his army. That pleased everyone, including Saul's other officers. Saul becomes David's enemy. David had killed Goliath, and battle was over, and Israel's army set out for home. As the army went along, a woman came out of each Israelite town to welcome King Saul. They were celebrating by singing songs and dancing to the music of tambourines and harps. They sang, "Saul has killed 1,000 enemies. David has killed 10,000. This song made Saul very angry, and he thought, "They are saying that David has killed 10 times more enemies than I ever did. Next day we want to make him king." Saul never again trusted David. The next day the Lord let an evil spirit take control of Saul, and he began acting like a crazy man inside his house. David came to play the harp for Saul as usual, but this time Saul had the spear in his hand. Saul thought, "I will pin David to the wall." He threw the spear at David twice, but David dodged and got away both times. Saul was afraid of David because the Lord was helping David and was no longer helping him. Saul put David in charge of 10,000 soldiers and sent him out to fight. The Lord helped David, and he and his soldiers always won their battles. This made Saul even more afraid of David. But everyone else in Judah and Israel was loyal to David because he led the army in battle. One day, Saul told David, "If you will be brave and fight the Lord's battles for me, I will let you marry my oldest daughter, Merab." But Saul was really thinking, "I don't want to kill David myself, so I will let the Palestine do it for me." David answered, "How could I possibly marry your daughter? I'm not very important, and neither is my family." But when the time came for David to marry Saul's daughter, Merab, Saul told her to marry Adriel from the town of Meholah. Saul had another daughter. Her name was Michal. And Saul found out that she was in love with David. This made Saul happy, and he thought, "I will tell David, he can marry Michal, but I will set it up so that the Palestine will kill him. He told David, I'm going to give you a second chance to marry one of my daughters. Saul ordered his officers to speak to David in private. So they went to David and said, Look, the king likes you, and all of his officers are loyal to you. Why not ask the king if you can marry his daughter Michal? I'm not rich or famous enough to marry Princess Michal. David answered. The officers went back to Saul and told him exactly what David had said. Saul was hoping that the Palestine would kill David, and he told his officers to tell David, the king doesn't want any silver or gold. He only wants to get even with his enemies. All you have to do is to bring back proof that you have killed 100 Palestinians. The officers told David, and David wanted to marry the princess. King Saul had set a time limit, and before it ran out, David and his men left and killed 200 Palestinians. David brought back the proof that Saul had demanded and showed it to him, so he could marry Michal. Saul agreed to let David marry Michal. King Saul knew that she loved David, and he also realized that the Lord was helping David. But knowing those things made Saul even more afraid of David, and he was David's enemy for the rest of his life. The Palestine rulers kept coming to fight Israel, but whenever David fought them, he won. He was famous because he won more battles against the Palestine than any of Saul's other officers. 19. Saul tries to have David killed. One day, Saul told his son Jonathan and his officers to kill David. But Jonathan and David were best friends, and he warned David, my father is trying to have you killed, so be very careful. Hide in a field tomorrow morning, and I will bring him there. Then I will talk to him about you, and if I find out anything, I will let you know. The next morning, Jonathan reminded Saul about the many good things David had done for him. Then he said, Why do you want to kill David? He hasn't done anything to you. He has served in your army and has always done what's best for you. He even risked his life to kill Goliath. The Lord helped Israel win a great victory that day, and it made you happy. Saul agreed and promised, I swear by the living God, living Lord, that I won't have David killed. Jonathan went to David and told him what Saul had said. Then he brought David to Saul, and David served in Saul's army just as he had done before. The next time there was a war with the Palestine, David fought hard and forced them to retreat. Michal helps David escape. One night, David was in Saul's home, praying the harp for him. Saul was sitting there, holding a spear, when an evil spirit from the Lord took control of him. Saul tried to pin David to the wall with the spear, but David dodged it, and it stuck in the wall. David ran out of the house and escaped. Saul sent guards to watch David's house all night and then to kill him in the morning. Michal, David's wife, told him, "If you don't escape tonight, they will kill you tomorrow." She helped David leap through a window and climb down to the ground. As David ran off, Michal put a statue in his bed. She put goat hair on its head and dressed it in some of David's clothes. The next morning, Saul sent guards to arrest David, but Michal told them David is sick. Saul sent the guard back and told them, "Bring David to me, bed and all, so I can kill him." When the guards went in, all they found in the bed was the statue with the goat hair on its head. "Why have you tricked me this way?" Saul asked Michal. "You helped my enemy get away." She answered, "He said he would kill me if I didn't help him escape." Samuel helped David escape. Meanwhile, David went to Samuel at Ramah and told him what Saul had done. Then Samuel and David went to Prophet's village and stayed there. Someone told Saul, "David is at Prophet's village in Ramah." Saul sent a few soldiers to bring David back. They went to Ramah and found Samuel in charge of a group of prophets who were all prophesying. Then the Spirit of God took control of the soldiers, and they started prophesying too. When Saul heard what had happened, he sent some more soldiers, but they prophesied just like the first group. He sent a third group of soldiers, but the same thing happened to them. Finally, Saul left for Ramah himself. He went as far as the deep pit at the town of Seku, and he asked, "Where are Samuel and David?" "At Prophet's village in Ramah," the people answered. Saul left for Ramah, but as he walked along, the Spirit of God took control of him, and he started prophesying. Then, when he reached Prophet's village, he stripped off his clothes and prophesied in front of Samuel. He dropped to the ground and lay there naked all that day and night. That's how the saying started. Is Saul now a prophet? Jonathan helped David escape. David escaped from Prophet's village. Then he ran to see Jonathan and asked, "Why does your father Saul want to kill me? What have I done wrong? My father can't be trying to kill you. He never does anything without telling me about it. Why would he hide this from me? It can't be true." "Jonathan, I swear it's true, but your father knows how much you like me, and he didn't want to break your heart. That's why he didn't tell you. I swear by the line living, Lord, and by your own life, that I'm only one step ahead of death. Then Jonathan said, tell me what to do, and I will do it. David answered, tomorrow is the new moon festival, and I'm supposed to eat dinner with your father. But instead, I will hide in a field until the evening of the next day. If Saul wonders where I am, tell him, David asked me to let him go to his hometown of Bethlehem, so he could take part in sacrifices his family make there every year. If your father say it's all right, then I'm safe. But if he gets angry, you know he wants to hurt me. Be kind to me. After all, it was your idea to promise the Lord that we would always be loyal friend. If I have done anything wrong, kill me yourself, but don't hand me over to your father. Don't worry, Jonathan said. If I find out that my father wants to kill you, I will certainly let you know. How will you do that? David asked. Let's go out to this field and I will tell you, Jonathan answered. When they got there, Jonathan said, I swear by the Lord God of Israel that 2 days from now I will know what my father is planning. Of course, I will let you know if he's friendly toward you. But if he wants to harm you, I promise to tell you and help you escape. And I ask the Lord to punish me severely if I don't keep my promise. I pray that the Lord will bless you, just as he used to bless my father. Someday the Lord will wipe out all of his enemies. Then if I'm still alive, please be as kind to me as the Lord has been. But if I'm dead, be kind to my family. Jonathan and David made an agreement that even David's descendants would have to keep. Then Jonathan said, I pray that the Lord will take revenge on your descendants if they break our promise. Jonathan thought as much of David as he did of himself, so he asked David to promise once more that he would be a loyal friend. After this, Jonathan said, tomorrow is the new moon festival and people will wonder where you are because your place at the table will be empty. By the day after tomorrow, everyone will think you've been gone a long time. Then go to the place where you hide before and stay beside the going away rock. I'll shoot 3 arrows at the target of the side of the rock and send my servant to find the arrows. You will know if it's safe to come out by what I tell him. If it is safe, I swear by the living God that I will say, the arrows are on this side of you. Pick them up. But if it isn't safe, I will say to the boy, the arrows are farther away. This will mean that the Lord wants you to live and you must go. But he will always watch us to make sure that we keep the promise we made to each other. So David hid there in the field. During the new moon festival, Samuel sat down to eat by the wall, just as he always did. Jonathan sat across from him, and Abner sat next to him. But David's place was empty. Saul didn't say anything that day because he was thinking something must have happened to make David unfit to be at the festival. Yes, something must have happened. The day after the new moon festival, when David's place was still empty, Saul asked Jonathan, "Why hasn't that son of Isaac come to eat with us? He wasn't here yesterday and he still isn't here today." Jonathan answered, "The reason David hasn't come to eat with you is that he begged me to let him go to Bethlehem. He said, 'Please let me go. My family is offering a sacrifice, and my brother told me I have to be there. Do me this favor and let me slip away to see my brothers.'" Saul was furious with Jonathan and yelled, "You are no son of mine, you traitor. I know you've chosen to be loyal to what son of Isaac? That son of Isaac? You should be ashamed of yourself, and your own mother should be ashamed that you were ever born. You'll never be safe, and your kingdom will be in danger as long as that son of Isaac is alive. Turn him over to me now. He deserves to die." "Why do you want to kill David?" Jonathan asked. "What has he done?" Saul drew his spears at Jonathan and tried to kill him. Then Jonathan was sure that his father really did want to kill David. Jonathan was angry and heard that his father had insulted David so terribly. He got up, left the table, and didn't eat anything all that day. In the morning, Jonathan went out to the field to meet David. He took a servant boy along and told him, "When I shoot the arrows, you run and find them for me." The David started running, and Jonathan shot an arrow so that it would go beyond him. When the boy got near the place where the arrow had landed, Jonathan shouted, "Isn't the arrow past you?" Jonathan shouted to him again, "Hurry up, don't stop." The boy picked up the arrow and brought them back to Jonathan, but he had no idea about what was going on. Only Jonathan and David knew. Jonathan gave his weapon to the boy and told him, "Place this back into town." After the boy had gone, David got up from beside the mound and bowed every low 3 times. Then he and Jonathan kissed each other and cried, but David cried louder. Jonathan said, "Take care of yourself, and remember, we each have asked the Lord to watch and make sure that we and our descendants keep our promise forever." David left. Jonathan went back to town.